With the recent release of James Gunn's Creature Commandos animated series on HBO Max, we thought it would be the perfect time to discuss some projects that we would love to see get made in James Gunn's DCU.
Yeah, things that can expand the overall lore and storytelling of this universe. Creature Commandos obviously takes some kind of more obscure characters to kick things off, but I think it's all those kind of characters that aren't the big heavy hitters like, you know, Superman and Batman that can really offer some interesting storytelling capabilities.
And that make it a universe rather than just 7 of the most popular characters just always being in the forefront, you know?
Agreed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Thomas.
I'm Merlin.
Together we're the Comic Lads, and today we're talking about our 5 most wanted projects in the DCU.
Before we get things started, guys, question of the week. What is a project that you would love to see made in this universe? The sky's the limits. We're at the very beginning. We're at the birth of this cinematic universe. It's very exciting.
And it would be even more exciting if, you know, we could watch it on any streaming service in Canada. Thanks, Max.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before we jump into it, guys, make sure to drop a like. It really helps us out. Absolutely demolish the like button.
Absolutely smash it.
Smash it.
Also, consider subscribing. Become one with the lads.
Become a fellow comic lad.
All right, so getting into this list, we have 3 movies and 2 TV show projects. I think especially after something like The Penguin and with the, you know, weekly episodic release of Creature Commandos, television has a lot of potential here to expand the universe.
Absolutely.
All that being said, our first project is a movie.
And it was actually, funnily enough, going to be a movie until they canned it 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're talking about The New Gods.
Yeah, I think The New Gods would be a perfect place to start with kind of sowing the seeds of Darkseid in the DCU.
Yeah,
I mean,
and just expanding the cosmos of the DC universe beyond Earth and all the Earth-based heroes.
I would love this story to take place from the POV of the 2 brothers, being Mr. Miracle and Orion.
100 billion%.
You know what I mean? I think it would be a perfect contrast to see them both growing up.
On Apocalypse and Genesis.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love like an eventual team up between them. You know what I mean? Kind of like a nature versus nurture scenario.
Yeah.
Where as they, you know, grow up, obviously with Mr. Miracle, he's always trying to escape Apocalypse. You know what I mean? And maybe Orion can like meet him or something and they can, I don't know, team up and kind of take down the bad guys or something like that.
100%. But we would also need Big Barda. We're not doing this movie without Big Barda.
For sure. I mean, and maybe it could be like a, you know, we start off the movie and they're kids and then we see them as they grow up and eventually take the mantle of Orion and Mr. Miracle. I need a Mr. Miracle in the DC.
I do. And you know what? Who would be a sick villain for this? Because obviously we don't want to just like blow our load too early with Darkseid. Granny Goodness.
Oh my god, hell yeah.
Fuck
yeah. I feel like if you see Darkseid in it, it would be almost like how
Guardians showed Thanos.
Exactly. Yeah. Like maybe you see just like him with his back turned towards the camera.
Yeah, with his arms behind his back.
Yeah, or something like that. It would just be so sick.
Yeah, I already got a casting idea. Tom Holland, Mr. Miracle, Dwayne Johnson, Orion.
Absolutely. They could be brothers.
Zendaya, Big Barda.
100%.
I think that's perfect.
Oh my god. Dave Bautista, Darkseid.
No. Wait.
But yeah, New Gods. Also would be a great opportunity to expand the cosmic side of the DCU.
Absolutely. And like we saw in the New 52, the New Gods aren't just like on their own all the time. They also interact with other aspects of the DC cosmos, bro. We could see some Green Lanterns in there. I don't care.
Oh, I would love to see Forager too.
Oh yeah.
He needs to have a little cameo in there.
Next up on our list, guys, would like this to be like a 6-episode mini-series, super film noir, talking about Gotham City Year 1.
Yeah, a bit more of an obscure project, but I think with James Gunn talking about, you know, how his DCU isn't going to be afraid to tell more like
off the beaten path stories.
Yeah, things that maybe don't directly tie into the main narrative and phase or arc or chapter or whatever they're calling it. And Gotham City Year 1 would obviously be based off the novel by Tom King.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah. Honestly, like it might be a top 10 comic book of all time for me, by Tom King and Phil Hester. Incredible story. The main character of the story is Slam Bradley, who, if you don't know, he was the kind of like the first like DC Comics character, like arguably, like he is the detective in Detective Comics before they introduced Batman. He's like the first detective in Gotham, and the story basically shows
how Gotham came to be,
how Gotham fell from grace, how Gotham used to be like an even more clean and pristine and prosperous city, seemingly on the surface, more than something like Metropolis.
Yeah, everyone wanted to live in Gotham City.
Exactly. League, but this story is about how it fell from grace.
And I love, like, in the story how they use the Waynes, you know what I mean, and the Arkhams, and it's just, you get to see kind of like the family history of Bruce Wayne way before he was even conceived, or, you know, even Thomas and Martha were even in the mix.
Literally, it's about how it's about how Bruce's grandparents, Richard and Constance Wayne, hire Detective Slam Bradley to find their missing daughter, Helen Wayne, the Princess of Gotham. And it's this winding, twisty-turny, dark gothic film noir mystery. It just like oozes sauce.
Yeah.
Like this book, just read it.
Yeah, I think it would be great as a kind of more rated R project too. You know what I mean? It gets pretty violent at times in the book.
It gets really dark, really fucked up, really mature, interesting, and prevalent themes in today's society too. It's about race in Gotham City, which you don't see a lot.
And also kind of shows like the corruption of Gotham. You know what I mean? I think obviously in the DCU we're going to see Batman in the present, and hopefully if they do it right, Gotham's going to be like a shit house of a place. And I think this would be a really interesting story to kind of showcase maybe at the beginning of the series. Gotham is really clean, like we were saying earlier, and it's so like prestigious, and you see like kids running in the street playing together.
Yep.
And by the end of the story, you know, we would see the absolute fall of it.
And it's the Gotham that we know and love by the end of the show. And, you know, to keep it tied into the main DCU, the comic book is narrated by a 95-year-old Slam Bradley telling this story of the past to a Batman. He's like, you can get a little fucking Batman cameo in there, you know, if you want.
And this is the type of story, too, that I see, like, obviously it'd be a 6-episode miniseries, but if it's received well, I mean, you could tell so many stories in the past. You know, we could even visit places like Metropolis, we could go to, you know, Star City, Keystone, all these different places.
100%.
And really world build the DCU a little bit.
Well, and we already have the Paradise Lost show announced, which is telling us, like, the backstory of Themyscira and the Amazons. So we already know that James Gunn isn't really shying away from stories like this.
Absolutely. Next on our list, our second movie that we have, Green Arrow.
Where the fuck is this guy's movie?
I don't know. I mean, the CW just wrapped up with Superman and Lois recently.
Yay.
Yay. You know, we've kind of put that whole phase of our lives to rest a little bit. It's been a long journey. But you know what? Arrow, when it first came out, had some good things.
It did. It had a lot of potential. They had a really good plot line, you know, with the present day story of him being, you know, the Arrow, and then the past story of him on the island, which I think I would also love to explore in a movie.
100%. At least in some flashbacks, at the very least.
Definitely.
I would love to see Black Canary in this as well.
1,000,000,000% she has to be a main character.
Yeah, she could kind of play the role of like how Black Widow was in Iron Man 2. You know, supporting character, but is there to aid the hero, there for some really fun discussions, and you could actually build up the romance in this movie for the first time.
100%. And she can kick some ass too, because she is one of the best fighters in the DC universe.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want Slade in this movie.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I don't care.
Hell yeah.
I want him in it.
Yeah.
Even if he'll wash Ollie.
There's something really interesting said about Green Arrow. It wasn't my statement. It was from a YouTuber called Troy Boy.
Yes.
That I think he said something really interesting in a video where Green Arrow is the perfect, like, everyman for the DC universe and is kind of like a great POV character.
He is, because he has no powers, and he doesn't even have no powers in the same way that someone like Batman does, because Batman is like this unattainable thing. Like, he is just a normal dude that shoots arrows and wants to help the little guy.
Yeah, agreed. And I think having a more grounded character like this,
the other heroes need him to keep them honest.
Yeah, and I think it's also a very refreshing idea for the DCU, you know what I mean? Even with Creature Commandos, it's very, like, much in the realm of, like, fantastical, but having a boots on the ground, you know, Ollie.
Urban archer character.
Yeah, and it would be such a crazy ending, too, if at the very end of it, like, a Justice League member arrives at his doorstep to recruit him.
I would shit my pants.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
In terms of, like, an MCU comparison, he would be, like, a good, like, Ant-Man kind of movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. But, like,
way cooler and more, like, action-oriented and less Paul Rudd.
Our next pick on this list is another TV show. We're talking about Dead Man.
Yeah, we gotta have some supernatural side of the DCU explored.
Yes, some like really dark kind of paranormal side of the DCU specifically.
In terms of Dead Man, like, it would be a great avenue to showcase him as a character for sure. But I think the story capability with bringing in other supernatural characters is like unlimited.
Oh yeah, like
have Zatanna.
It would be a backdoor Justice League Dark show.
Yeah, for sure.
But like still centered on Dead Man. Like I would think for at least a first season, if he would get multiple, I don't know, I would want it to be about him tracking down his killer as a ghost.
Yeah, and he could encounter characters like Dr. Fate or Constantine along the way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would just be, I need some like dark, creepy shit. Like, you know, Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness kind of promised this style of production where it's very dark and like cosmic-y and supernatural.
And it did not deliver.
No, not at all. But this one, I feel like kind of combining more serious dark elements, like from the Gotham City show we pitched, with a mystery involved in there and some film noir style elements. I think it would just fit so well with this story.
I totally agree. And listen, dude, we already got Swamp Thing greenlit. Put him in the show.
Yeah.
Throw him in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as a TV show. I think it would be a really, really fun. Like each episode, you can encounter a new DCU character that you can interact with. And our final pick, our last movie that we'd like to see. This is like something that I think it's a requirement in the DCU.
And it's also something that we should have got 8 years ago.
Yeah, we're talking about World's Finest.
And if you don't know what World's Finest is, that's basically the team-up franchise name for when Batman and Superman team up.
Yeah, it's such an iconic duo, you know what I mean? And we've never gotten an interaction between a Batman and a Superman on screen that wasn't like Fat Fleck and Henry Cavill.
Depressed Cavill fighting for no reason. Like, guys, we don't want them to fight.
You know, obviously there's bound to be some disagreements and like contention between the two characters. And I would love for them to do something kind of like what the DCAU used to do.
Yeah.
Where like maybe a villain from Metropolis goes to Gotham or a villain from Gotham goes to Metropolis.
And they team up.
Yeah, and one character is investigating the other person's city, you know what I mean? And they kind of cross paths and have to team up on it. And there's a bigger conspiracy there.
And guys, I don't care. It should be Pattinson.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we've talked about time and time again.
And like, nobody agrees with us. It's so crazy that like they want two Batmans. It's crazy to me that people think that Robert Pattinson's Batman can't coexist in a DC universe. There's nothing about it that says it can't.
Yeah, people kind of make the argument that Robert Pattinson is too realistic. But it's also like, I feel like people just say that because in the movie, it's a very detective-y story.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't really seen the full extent of his capabilities yet.
Yeah, and he has like fucking magic contact lenses that can record hours of footage. He has like proto-venom basically that he's shooting up into himself. Like, you can bleed the fantastical into the Reeves Gotham.
The one thing that I will say is that I would want, if Robert Pattinson and this dream idea of ours actually happened, I would want him to have more of his Bruce Wayne side fleshed out.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I don't want to see him arrive in Metropolis with like shades on, looking like he's just gone on a 3-day bender. Would you want him to like swoop in and smash Lois Lane too? Like in the DC?
No, I wouldn't. It's so gross, bro. I hate when they do that.
But yeah, and also I will say, this DCU needs to establish strong connections between the characters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like the MCU in its heyday, because it's fallen from grace since then.
Yes.
It thrived on having character relationships like Tony and Cap and freaking Black Widow and Clint Barton. You know what I mean? We need to see friendship. That's what keeps these universes alive and so strong, is the characters and how they interact with each other.
I fully agree with you, dude.
And honestly, like in terms of timeline placement, I'd want this before a Justice League movie. I think it should lead into a Justice League movie.
For me, the perfect post-cred or like an ending scene for a World's Finest movie is Superman and Batman are friends now. Oh, they just met Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but that's just our list, guys. Let us know what your dream projects are. What characters do you want to see explored and revamped on screen? Do you agree with our picks? Let us know down below.
And if you have different picks than us, let us know those as well. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. Smash the like button.
Subscribe, become a lad. Yeah, help us rise above the YouTube algorithm. And we'll see you guys later.
We love you.
We love you dearly.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.